The Metro 2 framework is evidently one of the most mysterious underground rail frameworks on the planet, said to exist under the similarly charming Moscow Metro framework. The line was affirmed to be utilized by the elites of the Soviet Union. Some state it stays operational today. Likewise, as opposed to being just an underground rail framework. A few scientists recommend that a whole multi-floor living arrangement exists under Moscow, maybe as profound as 15 levels. Might those cases be valid? Sometime before the designs for the Moscow underground framework were concocted, Russia had a long history of clandestine underground structures and areas. They returned centuries for model. A mystery chamber room housed many old writings under the Kremlin before they were strangely lost sooner or later during the 1500s. As far as anyone knows, they were important compositions from the Byzantine library, regardless of whether they were pulverized or remained someplace in a mystery area is available to debate. Later in the 16th century, Ivan the Terrible administered his own underground organization. He utilized it to detain, torment, and even homicide any individual who crossed him. Perhaps a much all the more chilling insight regarding these underground torment networks is the destiny of the individuals who chipped away at them. As indicated by the records, anybody engaged with him was brought to the underground rooms and executed in order to secure these secrets. 1. 9 materials from many historic buildings make up the underground photograph credit. Wikimedia. A considerable lot of the crude materials that make up the evident Moscow and Metro 2 underground are said to come from the stone and quality of the structures of the Russian illustrious family, although plans for a serious underground framework had existed for quite a long time. Work didn't generally start until the mid-1930s. Upon Stalin's particular requests, an enormous bit of the materials came from the extremely old structures that were totally destroyed and deprived of all that could be used to, in part. This was without a doubt identified with the thought of the tip-top, and the arrival of abundance to the individuals, from a certain point of view as it was offered to the individuals. Truly, it was an instance of stripping down the most minimal hanging organic product. This demeanor maybe shows plainly what underlies such philosophy. 8. Much was constructed by hand. Much of the work on the Moscow Metro framework was led by hand by residents of the Soviet Union. Formerly, this was because of an absence of suitable apparatuses and showed the dedication of the Soviet citizens. However, a significant number of the laborers were political rivals. We should take note of that. This isn't an authoritatively perceived certainty. You won't locate any put-down accounts of such constrained work. In any case, understanding what we do of how such political rivals were frequently treated, almost certainly. The gossipy tidbits are in any event somewhat credible. Those who guarantee the mysterious organization exists under the official rail network say that solitary select people were permitted to deal with the informal lines. These individuals were unquestionably not the individuals who may have had varying philosophies to the authoritatively perceived mindset. 3. Regardless of who worked on what parts of the organization. Frameworks. The work was long, backbreaking, and extreme. 7. They were perhaps created out of paranoia. Photograph credit. HowStuffWorks.com. In spite of any official reasoning for the development of the Moscow Underground, the explanation behind the Metro 2 framework was in all probability a consequence of paranoia. Following the finish of World War II, there was a prudent fundamental scorn of Stalin, what he spoke to, and the individuals who controlled under him. Actually, this basic enmity had been preparing for quite a long time among numerous in the Soviet populace. Stalin had authentic worries about endeavors on his life. Many case the Metro 2 framework and the broad underground living quarters associated with it were set up so Stalin and any unwavering companions could get away if another upset occurred. Particularly one that may bring about an impending risk to his life, for so it would bode well that solitary a chosen handful would even be told about the organization, significantly less enter it. 6. Only those with clearance could enter Metro 2, as we may expect just those with highly confidential extraordinary freedom could enter the Metro 2 framework. That basically implied the first class. Moreover, these conditions are apparently still set up today, at any rate unofficially. 5. For different reasons, numerous scientists have applied for consent to enter the supposed passages. Practically all have been can't. Maybe that should be telling enough in itself. For instance, for what reason would the solicitation to see an organization of passages that doesn't exist be refused, according to certain sources, as late as 2008? The Moscow Metro Workers Guild was embrace circumspect endeavors to draw in select drivers for mystery courses. Obviously, these might have been for authentic government projects, however. Given the numerous bits of gossip about the clandestine Metro 2 organization, it is anything but difficult to perceive any reason why scientists would make the association. In the event that the cases are valid, what action may be occurring under the city of Moscow today? 5. They only run short trains on very exclusive lines. Photograph credit Wikipedia. In spite of the fact that we should treat the reports with a spot of salt, like each one of those concerning Metro 2. The cases of elite lines and short trains are specifically compelling. These are maybe to keep up security and mystery, however much as could reasonably be expected, to such an extent that they frequently highlight just a solitary traveler vehicle with space for an insignificant number of people. Researcher Yuri Zaitsev keeps up that 4 selective and mystery lines actually work today. These interface with key areas around Moscow, and from each, other significant areas can be reached. In the picture over, the spotted lines probably uncover mystery Metro 2 lines. These claims were apparently supported by one-time government serv Mikhail Poltorinin. He proclaimed, "I realize that the Metro 2 has branches that go to suburbia so the order could move away from the focal point of an atomic assault." He likewise expressed that the underground organization was tremendous, and could undoubtedly shroud a ton of people. 6. For many former politicians and defectors have spoken of the Metro 2's existence. Photograph credit The Independent since the fall of the Soviet Union, and, at times, previously, some high-positioning legislators have approached to affirm the presence of Metro 2. Despite the fact that it is anything but difficult to excuse such articulations as intrigue jabber. The many coordinating cases are at any rate important to us here. For model previous data, Serv Alexander Murakansky said that the massive organization was intended to guarantee the steady activity of the senior military and political administration in the midst of outfitted clash, including an atomic conflict. 7. Oleg Gordievsky, a turncoat from the Soviet Union, made considerably all the more disturbing cases. He cautioned, "You actually don't have a clue about the principal KGB mystery yet. A tremendous underground city, an entire interchanges organization of such officers. However, they won't show you. They will never." Of course, even now, huge numbers of these cases coming from the previous Soviet Union are both charming and disappointing in equivalent measure since they seem doused with disinformation. 3. They led to top-secret underground bunkers. Photograph credit CNN.com. As we will talk about in a second, significantly more might be under and around the Metro 2 line than simply a rail organization. For instance, a few underground shelters are accepted to exist. These were all for the sake of getting away from atomic annihilation. 8. However, no doubt these dugouts were past simple trauma centers. Numerous scientists guarantee that they were kitted out in the most extreme extravagance. Furthermore, they were intended to oblige long remains of numerous months, maybe even years. It is asserted by informants and turncoats that these dugouts were for the restrictive utilization of faithful, high-positioning individuals from the Communist Party and the Politburo. Also, each future ready to bring their whole families into what added up to extravagant underground high-rises. 2 RAMENKAI 43A City under a city photo credit. CNN.com. Perhaps an even stranger and more intriguing rumor surrounding the Metro 2 system is the supposed existence of a city underneath the city of Ramenki. It apparently goes by the name of RAMENKAI 43. This secret city was developed to house the Soviet elite in case of nuclear war or a similar disaster. 9. Various researchers and whistleblowers have made claims about the secret underground city. One former KGB officer even spoke to Time magazine about it. He said that the underground network could easily house around 15,000 people. In addition, the city was on various levels and connected to other secret locations around Moscow. Incidentally, the alleged underground city can also be accessed by an abandoned lot near Moscow State University. These alleged secret entrances are said to be dotted around Moscow. Many empty lots lead to the underground. Rumors and cases recommend that mystery doors to this underground range exist. They live in the obviously incomplete structures around the city of Moscow. Shockingly, there are a few such locations. These empty parts come in all shapes and structures, from incomplete clinics to parking areas and all way of incomplete structures. Metropolitan legends around Moscow express that all or a portion of these deserted structures offer doorways to this mystery underground network. 10. Interestingly, huge numbers of these supposed mystery passages regularly pull in offensive components of society, going from drug posses to sinister factions. These areas additionally pull in the destitute, who are just searching for some place safe to sleep. Whether any of these individuals have ever meandered into these mystery passageways stays a riddle. In the event that you strolled around Moscow and into these far-removed territories, you might conceivably be astounded what you hear.